Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Thank you, Terry. You know, anybody can get hope and help in life's easiest places. That's not hard. But to get it in life's hardest places, now that's what we're trying to do here. And helping me do that today is Dr. Alice Benton. Alice, how are you?
Hey, Steve. I'm doing really well. I'm glad to be with you and everybody listening. Hi, guys.
No need to try to call in because this is one of those rare taped programs. And because it is, we are going right to the phones. People have held on here, and we're happy about that. And so here we are. It's let's talk to Chantel from Sacramento, California, listening on KKLA. Hi there. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing okay. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, you're happy to do that.
Thank you. Well, I've been in a relationship for about 9 years now, and
how old are you?
Together.
How old are you?
I'm 36. 36.
Why have you been in a relationship for 9 years?
Well, it's been a struggle. I think it's just been hard to let go. I think some of it is my own abandonment issues, wanting to try, feeling like I'm the blame for a lot of the problems that we have. He doesn't trust me and hasn't trusted me.
Why doesn't he trust you? Why doesn't he trust you?
Well, I have lied about a number of things, particularly about past relationships that I've had, out of shame, and also I think out of fear for not wanting to tell him that I wasn't comfortable talking about it, wanting to present myself a certain way, not understanding God's grace in my life, I think. And so that was a big struggle, and then it snowballed into him accusing me about having relationships with other people, which I never have, having secret friendships with his friends, which I've never done. And it just was a whirlwind of things where I felt like I needed to prove myself to him. Okay. And I just feel like I get nowhere.
Yeah. All right. So what's the question for us?
Well, I'm struggling because I want to know if I'm doing the right thing to walk away, because my heart's not in it. Like, I feel like I'm at a place where I just can't. It's bigger than I am, You know what I feel think? Like a failure. And
you know what I think? I think your heart's been in it for a long time, but his heart isn't in it. And it is one thing. It is one thing to not want to be open about a past that you're not proud of. Something entirely different if you're still living in that past and doing the things that you did then. And you said that you're not doing that. You haven't been unfaithful to him. And he's accused you of doing things you haven't done. So you said you were sorry that you didn't tell him the truth. You weren't ready to tell him the truth. He pressured you. You distorted it. That's not good. But it does. I mean, doesn't sound like to me you're continuing to do that. Is that right? You're not even. I mean, you're a truthful person with him, right?
Yes. And we've been to counseling, and
what does the counselor say when you go?
To a number of counselors.
What do they say?
He says that they say that at the beginning, like, hold on to the relationship loosely. They told him, if you see her as a liar, then that's maybe what you can count on. And, working on me not defending myself, trying to be more,
okay.
I guess.
We're going to help you.
On Friday night, we got into an argument, and I stayed in the car outside for 2 hours. I knew what the right thing to do was to go.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C. June 28th to the 30th.
You know, I know this stuff, but it's so hard to do. I hear it, I read it, and I'm always getting in my own way. I'm always expecting my wife to go first.
Join Steve Arterburn.
We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group leaders will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
My biggest takeaway was to just get out of my way and go first.
1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Alice, what do you say to Chantel, who has been in a 9-year dating relationship? Whoa, that's a long time.
Chantel, I honor the fact that you're willing to confess that you struggled with lying. I did too. And our willingness to confess and to change our behavior is crucial. And it sounds like you have done that and you stopped lying. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well done. Now, I am curious, is falsely accusing you of secret relationships the worst thing that your boyfriend has done, or has he mistreated you in other ways?
He's mistreated me. There's been some physical abuse, emotional abuse. He's said that he thinks that I have, pathology and mental issues, which I know that I do struggle with some issues.
Chantel, wait, hold on. You're going back to blaming yourself for some things, and it's good to recognize that you are imperfect. But yet you said, yes, he has physically abused you?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Okay, all right. And what is it about you or about your past that thinks you need to stick around and tolerate?
I think feeling like a failure, like it's my fault, like I didn't do enough, like he needs help, and it's my fault that he did these things. And so if I just change, if I can get it right, then things will get better.
All right, so Chantel, I'm gonna speak to you strongly because I care for you as a fellow sister. I love you and I care for you. It is never the fault of the victim to be physically abused. Even if you lied, which you did, that does not justify physical abuse. It doesn't.
Never.
You are afraid of being a failure, but all I have heard so far is how much you've acknowledged your mistakes. You've tried to be different. You've gone to counseling. You don't lie anymore. To me, that is a woman who is realistic about herself and is actively working on change.
So if you tell him that you're leaving him, are you in danger from him?
I think at times I felt like I was, and there's times where I'm not sure. Like, I don't think so. I think, like, I don't want to, like, poke at the hornet's nest, I feel like I've tried to find times where it was a good time to talk to him, and then sometimes it would just kind of blow up in my face, and I find myself right where I don't want to be all over again. Like, I start off trying to be bold and set boundaries, and then I end up right back in a corner.
Okay. Look, you need to get out of this relationship, but you need to do it in a way where you're safe, okay? Now, do you guys still see a counselor or not?
No, we don't.
Okay. So, is there anybody that he would be willing to go with you just to talk to about the relationship?
Yeah, I think so. It's a little hard because I find myself, when we've seen a counselor, I feel like it turns out to where he's blaming me.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Here's what I would love to see happen. I would love to see you be in a counselor's office and telling him that you are not going to continue the relationship, and based on the fact that he has physically abused you in the past, you are afraid that he's going to hurt you, and that's why you're there. Now, what that does is that would be saying that in front of a counselor, and that counselor would go on record, and that would be incentive and motivation, and then she could assess the situation, or he, and tell you whether you ought to get a restraining order, which you probably should. But this is a horrible situation for you, and I can't believe that, the abuse that he's given you must not have come out in the other counseling situations. Is that correct?
Yeah, to a certain extent, because I was always afraid, feeling like I needed to protect him.
Yes.
Yep. Well, he's manipulated you. He has used you, and I'm so glad that you called so that we could tell you this is not your fault. It would be really great if you could move on here. God has other things for you, and you are experiencing shame not from God, but from Satan, who loves to see these kinds of horrible situations continue.
And Chantel, I would bet he's not the first one to tell you or treat you in a way that makes you think you're at fault. You talked about abandonment. Whoever left you, I don't doubt you felt at fault for them having left. If you had just been good enough, they wouldn't have left. And this lie that he's perpetrating right in front of counselors as well, of course it keeps you thinking you haven't tried hard enough, you're failing. If you left, you'd be failing the relationship. I'm going to say something that sounds really strange. I think the most loving thing you can do for this man is to walk away from him, because staying with him can actually enable his bad behavior to continue, his toxic, unsafe behavior. You might even need a safety plan to be able to move away from this relationship, because he may retaliate against you if you do. And domestic violence shelters are fantastic at even just guiding you through a safety plan. Or there are peace organizations that are women who have been abused, and they help other women escape from these situations. However much your life is entangled with his, you may need guidance on how to safely step away from the relationship.
Yeah. I'm so glad you called. I want you to hold on. We want to give you some help. We want to give you some additional counsel. And I tell you, I'm so sorry for what you have been through. Take your life back. This book is coming your way. So please, get the help. Let us help you get the help that you need. All right.
Steve, the organization I was trying to refer to is called Peace Over Violence, and that's the one of women helping women in these situations.
Good. All right. I hope we can help her. All right. Let's go to Marie, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. WBYN is the station. Hi, Marie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm going to give you my question right away.
That would just be so unusual. Thank you.
I have a daughter who lives in California, and I'm on the East Coast in Philadelphia.
Right.
And I am going out to see her on Monday, and I will be there for 2 weeks. She has 2 children, both boys, 8 and 3. And 2 of the major issues that they have are that the 8-year-old is hard on the 3-year-old. Yes. He'll push him down, he'll make him cry, he'll take his toys away, he messes up his games, and the little one just cries and cries. And no matter what mom and dad try to do, it doesn't help. They have tried to discipline him, they've put him in his room, they've taken toys away, they've tried a point system, reward system, nothing seems to work. And at school, the kids don't want to play with him because he is kind of like a leader, and he wants to tell them how to play when the rules are already set. So they say, we don't want to play with you. And this is the 3rd school he's been in because mom and dad have had to move because finances are so tight that they've had to downsize.
Okay, and so what kind of help are they getting him?
The 8-year-old, he's seeing a counselor at school.
and it's not helping.
He is, but I don't know that it's making any difference.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so,
what I saw last year when I would go and volunteer for the little time that I was there is the teacher would set him aside and put him at a table by himself and not let the other kids play with him because he didn't color within the lines. It was stupid. It was absolutely stupid. And she would say, you're not keeping up.
Well, you're seeing, though, here's the thing. You're seeing a moment that may not reflect a lot of other issues and things and frustrations that the teacher has had with him. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So he has a behavioral problem, and he needs special help beyond what a school counselor can give him. He might even need to go to a special therapeutic boarding school. Their finances are tight. The answer may be that they have to do some pretty desperate things, but I hate to see a child like this continue to be a problem and nobody gets that child the kind of help that could truly make a huge difference for them. Alice, what are you thinking here?
Well, Marie, we love when you grandparents call and ask us these questions, and you step up and you're a healthy part of your grandkids' lives. What is your relationship like with your daughter when it comes to how she parents her children? Is she open to your opinion, to your help?
Yes, and she's a good mother, and she does the best that she can.
And
she really does.
Is there anything significant in the 8-year-old's life that he's gone through that might help explain his behavioral problems?
He sees that the father does not respect the mother. He sees him lash out and argue for long periods of time because the father has OCD. And he has seen this so much that he thinks arguing is okay. And maybe that reflective of how he treats his little brother.
And how is your daughter, do you know how she's handling the way her husband treats her?
Oh, I was there one time and she was sitting on the floor and she was crying and crying. And she said, I look at other marriages, Mom, and I guess mine isn't that bad. When I see all the other things, people call in what they have. She said, I don't have that. But I think he is acting like a married person who is still single. He does take care of his needs, but he works also in Orange County, and they live in Valencia, and if it's like a 2-hour drive to get to the office or longer. Well, and so
the good mother will get help for that marriage and get help for the boy. It's a very undertreated situation.
It scares me that she compares her marriage and says, well, maybe mine's not that bad. Maybe I have it pretty good. Because that really sounds like tolerating what I do not believe she should tolerate. And if you know that he's at least argumentative, I wonder what happens that she has not shared with you. I hope it's not worse. But I believe his behavior is directly affecting your grandson. So when you go out, I want you to encourage your daughter to get the help for herself, to not just tolerate, not just accept how he is treating her. And if your husband has any kind of relationship with this son-in-law, or if he's willing to start developing relationships so that he can speak into what's happening, I think this man needs to be confronted for how he's treating his wife and how it's affecting their children. Would your husband be able to do that?
No, I'm a widow.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, the thing that is not tolerable, certainly the way she's being treated isn't good. But how this little boy, the youngest boy, is being treated must not go on. It has to stop. She must not condone cruelty in her own home. And he obviously, this is the same kind of stuff is showing up in some form at school. But this small child is going to grow up and hate his mother because she did not protect him.
Marie,
she's trying her Stop it.
Well, trying your best is not getting the job done. You have to, if your child is on fire, you can't say, I'm going to do my best to crawl over there and put out the fire. You either put the fire out or you don't. She has to put the fire out here. She has to do what it takes to protect a 3-year-old child.
So that might look like letting her husband know we need to get help in order to help our son. I'm making the appointment. Please come with me. I hope that you do. Will you come? Our son needs this from us.
Yeah.
Well, who should she say? She can't put this child in another school.
You know what? She needs to get help with her husband and let a therapist tell them what's the best thing for them and for the 8-year-old. But you can't let this continue. You just can't do it.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, July 19th to the 21st. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Last year, after Every Man's Battle, I was so moved by the transformation that I saw, not only in myself, but in the guys in our small group and the other people that were there and the stories that I heard, that I decided to go ahead and join Club New Life as a contributor to that.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
You guys are doing God's work here. You're restoring marriages. You're giving people hope. It's just been such a blessing to me, and I just wanted to encourage you all. When you see something good that God's doing, just jump on that and help support that.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Give your support to them if you can, and just help them do what God's doing here in the world.
Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Well, hello, we're back. Steve's coming in to join us.
All right, we are back. Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio, but first I just want to finish with Marie here and just kind of summarize that, if things can't change with the 8-year-old, I really think somebody needs to get the 3-year-old into a different setting, because when a child is terrorized like that by one or more older brothers or sisters, it's abuse. It is absolute abuse, and it's the parent's job to make sure it goes away and to do everything you can to make a child feel like they're safe, at least in the home. Anything you want to add there, Alice?
Marie, we want to encourage you. You've got a tough position, but you've got a fantastic position as well of influence in the life of your daughter, her marriage, and your grandchildren. So be courageous. God will equip you.
But encourage more than less, and encourage and just encourage her not to compare herself with anybody else, any other marriage. Just do what needs to be done in that situation there. Glad that you called, and I'm going to send you boundaries. I hope that will help you help her in whatever way that needs to be helped. Larry, how you doing?
Doing good, Steve. Thank you.
Sure. What's going on?
2 things. I just want to encourage the matching gift and Club New Life signups, both. And And I want to tell you why I want to do that. This is one of the shorter, but it's really powerful, I think, of little notes that we got in the mail. Thank you for helping me to see that God loves me, and it's all right to need and ask for help. My God is healing me and my marriage because of your ministry. God bless you all. And I love those simple ones. It's kind of profound. We help someone see that God loves her. What gets better than that?
No, and it's such an epidemic problem in the Christian community that people don't feel loved by God, who is love. It says God is love. Not that he's just loving, but he is God. We need to feel that love.
And before she intersected with New Life, she was afraid to ask for help. And boy, that makes all the difference in the world.
That is good.
That's why we ask you folks for support. We want to keep doing this. We want to keep doing it, growing it, and you make it all possible. Without your partnership, we're not able to do what we do. So, matching gift, people tell us all the time, I wish I could give more. Well, you can. Just make a gift of any amount. $5 becomes 10, 10 becomes 20, 20 becomes 40, whatever you can give. If you're of the higher income and net worth and such, and you can give 1,000 or 2,000, that becomes double that. Whatever it is, you can give more. So thank you for that.
And folks, God has us on this incredible adventure to help the hurting, to fight against evil, and you get to be part of this with us. There's room for everybody, and your financial support goes such a long way in equipping us to continue doing what we're doing.
Thank you, Alice.
One of the things that I don't think we hardly ever talk about, one of the great blessings, is that we know that prisoners are listening to us on radios in prisons. They talk with us. They communicate with us.
We've been in those prisons, Steve.
We've been there, and maybe you see in Scripture where it says, we need to be faithful in visiting prisoners. When you support us, you're fulfilling that. Maybe you don't feel like going into a prison. We're there. We're ministering there, and I think it's important that everybody feel like they're a part of everything that we do when you support us. And we'll say thank you. We'll send you this great, it's a tote. It's insulated. You can use it at the grocery store or camping. But that is nothing compared, I think, to how fulfilled you're going to be, how grateful you're going to be when you cross that line and start becoming part of the New Life Giving family. It is 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That is the number that could change everything for you and for the people that you support through this ministry. Anything else, Larry?
Yeah, when you call 800-NEW-LIFE, ask them to tell you all about Club New Life. It's a monthly giving program. We've got a great thank you gift, got great benefits, but that monthly giving means a lot to New Life as well.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Thanks, Larry. Larry, so faithful in working to keep us on the air, keep us doing the things that we do to transform lives. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Okay, let's go to, how about we talk with, it's Esther. Right there it is. Hi, Esther. How are you? Clifton, New Jersey, Sirius XM Satellite Radio. Welcome. Thanks for holding on.
1 second.
Hi. What's
Hello?
going on? Yeah, hi.
Hi, I'm calling because my 8-year-old hasn't seen her father for many years. He stopped seeing her before she turned 2, and he saw her again once when she was 4.5 years old. And I wonder if it would be suggested for me to take her to a therapist or psychologist. Because she does ask for him, and I know there's going to be an irreplaceable place there that I don't know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what does he say? Why doesn't he have a relationship with her?
He's not interested. That's his only child. He is 48 years old, and he's a medical doctor. He's a pediatrician. And he's not interested. He told me that if I take him off court order for child support, he will see her and the love can grow. But how can I trust them?
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
Glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, Steve Arterburn here, and you ask if this little girl should be in counseling. I think that would be so great if there was a loving counselor to work with her, do some play therapy, things like that. I think it'd be great if a pediatrician who doesn't support his daughter. I think it'd be great if they took his license away. I think it would be great if you never, ever take that court order for child support away, right?
Right.
Don't use... What's that?
We have court on the 1st of July, and that's the only chance that she can see him, because I have stepped into his office, his private practice office, and his sister, who is the manager, has kicked me out, telling me that if I come back again, I'm going to be called the police.
Well, don't do that.
Don't to see him.
Don't do that. I think you would do better in helping her accept the reality of who he is, rather than trying to force her on him. But I think, do you have a good attorney or not?
No. They have all worked for him, basically. All my information has been passed on to him.
Well, then you have to tell the judge that. You have to go and tell what's going on in that courtroom and not be intimidated. And you have to tell the judge your attorneys are not helping you. You have to tell them that he does not see her and has said he would if he didn't have to pay child support. And you have to ask the judge, if your attorneys don't, I need you to help me raise my daughter. I need your help.
Thank you, yes. So on the 1st of July, my friend was going to come with me with my daughter so she can see him. And
no, don't do that. This is horrible. That doesn't work. Don't do that. No.
Yeah, because she's going to be heartbroken, right?
Well, yes. So that's cruel. Get her out of this, and don't try to cram her down his throat and let her see that he doesn't care about her.
Oh, no. I was just trying to, kind of fulfill one of her wishes to see her dad.
Esther, we can understand your motivation to want your daughter to have relationship with her own father. But I think Steve is right that because he is so toxic, I mean, we're just taken aback by what you have described. Because he's so toxic.
He actually mistreated me in the relationship. He was very bad.
Well, that is what the judge needs to hear. Rather than you...
They know that.
Okay, but you need to have an attorney, and you need to tell the judge you're not confident with the legal representation you have, and you need the judge to help you because your daughter is suffering, and he's trying to manipulate you.
And Esther, Esther, exposing your 8-year-old to her father, as long as he continues in the same mode of rejecting, mistreating the both of you, it's worse for her to be exposed to that than to have the loss of her dad for now, unless he changes in the future.
Should I take her to a psychology? Because she keep asking me when am I going to take her to see her dad.
Esther, why do you question whether or not to take her to therapy? I'm curious.
Because she's only 8 and she's not understanding the rejection yet. But I don't want to wait until it's too late. But I don't know what is the appropriate age to do it.
Well, it's a good time, and there's a whole thing called play therapy, and I want you to hold on. We'll try to find a play therapist that will help you, and it will help her so much. And I'm so glad you called, and I'm going to send you How We Love Our Kids. I hope it's going to help you, all right?
Steve, I just want to speak to that in general because you can actually bring a baby in for certain kinds of therapy because babies that have been traumatized need to re-engage in a safe, stable environment. There's no age that's too young to go into the right kind of therapist that could do the age-appropriate therapy. So yes, Esther, yes, take your daughter in.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you called so that we could tell you to do not expose her to this very, very dangerously sick guy. And I'm so sorry that this is what you have to deal with. And I hope and pray that you'll get the support that you need, not just legal support, but support from girlfriends and pastors and other folks that will help you in this very, very tough situation so the best outcome ever can take place. It is not hopeless. But what would be sad is if your daughter ever developed any kind of expectation for a normal relationship with her daddy versus helping her deal with the realistic reality that he's not really ever going to be the dad that she wants. So the sooner that we can get her to accept that, the better. She needs support. I'm really glad you're going to get it for her. All right, 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. How many people have I ever heard say to me, we did too much too early, I wish we hadn't? Never heard that. But I've sure heard a lot of people say, I wish we hadn't tried to hope for something better, think it was a phase, wait for something to happen. That's so common of people really wishing they had not waited one more second. You don't do that. If somebody you know needs help, it doesn't matter how old they are, how young they are, you want to get them help sooner than later. That's the best thing that we can say. All right, let's go to we go to Gary from Dallas, Texas. Hi, Gary. How are you today?
Hey, Steve, Alice. I'm doing good.
Good. What's going on?
Just curiosity, kind of a question. Do y'all feel like there's a difference between irritability and anger?
I think they might have the same source, and one is, one is kind of that underlying source out of control, and the other is in control. But I've been irritated sometimes when I wasn't really angry. That there are irritating things in the world, but what is the real issue here? Are you struggling with some anger?
A lot of trouble sleeping, and that's because I feel like once I get a good night's sleep, I'm just not that way.
Mm-hmm.
Not irritable.
So,
I've been diagnosed with sleep apnea.
Do you have a CPAP machine?
I don't use it.
Well, you have to do that. You have to do what you can do, and that'd be a really good thing to do. Yeah.
Gary, who are you concerned about in your life that you may be irritable with or angry with, or who's concerned about you?
No, it's just me. I mean, it's not people that irritate me. Usually it's just things. You know, if you working on the car and drop a wrench or something, and just, you know, little things.
Low frustration tolerance is what they call that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never...
And Gary, when you feel like that, are you worried about what you say or do, that it has a negative impact on the people around you?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of times where there's just this one profane word that seems like it has to come out before this will pass. And I don't use any of this language in my normal talk. I mean, I'm living out here in the country now, and there's, you know, even the neighbor that's 200 yards away, I don't want her to hear this. And it's just weird how just this one word seems to relieve the, whatever you call it, the tension or the boiling point. Or
why don't we do this? Why don't we say that at the heart of your frustration is something totally different that might be a source of anger, and it comes out when things don't particularly go the way you want them to go, like dropping something. And so, is there anything, looking back, that you might point to that would say, that's the thing in my life that really filled me with intense anger or rage or great disappointment and hurt? Anything like that?
I mean, I'm lonely. I think that's a big part of my problem.
And earlier in life, were there things that happened that hurt you or caused you to have a hard time trusting people and caused you to isolate? Anything like that you can think of?
Well, I mean, I would say my dad was very critical. He was an alcoholic, and nothing you ever did was good enough. And you know, he called me Little Mary instead of Gary.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Now, this is not a mystery that we're uncovering. It's just obvious why you would have feelings like that. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. Oh, that is absolutely horrible. I want you to hold on. We're going to give you some help here. I'm really glad that you called, and maybe somebody listening, this is going to help them too. They've been through that same thing. We've got a lot of cruel, sick people, and alcohol fuels that cruelty and sickness.
She said, we need to talk. She's asked me for the first time if I would consider myself a sex addict. You know, I thought it was just about admitting the things that I had done wrong. I never had a clue that it was about redeeming our story. You know, I thought it was just about coming clean on what I had done. I had no idea how to help her with her pain. She was a mess, I was a mess, and we got divorced. Going to EMB, surrounding myself with these other men, they accepted me for who I was and what I had done, but they challenged me to step up and do better. You know, they'll be around other men who are not just pointing the finger, but willing to get in and wade through it with them, you know, get in the trenches. They'll get hope from this workshop. Take my sweet wife and my story. We were divorced, remarried, and on our way to what I think will be the sweetest years of our lives. You know, it's no longer simply about surviving. For the first time ever, you know, we're thriving, we're enjoying where we're at.
Hey, listen, if you're struggling, we want to see you at the workshop. Give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Alice Benton. Alice, what are you thinking when you hear Gary reveal such a horrible, hurtful situation like this?
Gary, it makes me hope that you will allow us to help you with the irritability or the anger rather than just differentiating the two. Because the wounds your dad called with the names, the critical voice, the alcoholism, Father has so much power to influence his son's life for good or for evil, and your dad did major damage to you. And I don't doubt that's not the only painful thing that you have been through in your life. It's not the only thing that's disappointed you about how you hoped your life would go, and it went a different way. So my great desire for you is that you would be willing to accept help, so that rather than just trying to control the irritability when it comes up or the profanity when it comes out, that you would dig down into those kind of wounds that you have because of your dad and other people in your life, because healing can come for those deeper wounds, and then it resolves so much of the anger and the irritability. It could even be part of the cause of your insomnia.
Yeah, it really could. And it's just so much deeper and hurtful than we could ever imagine, and we feel for you. I want you to hold on. I'm going to send you this book. I think it will help you. It's called Healing is a Choice, and I hope that we could find a counselor for you too, because boy, a few sessions with a great counselor, you could really do some great work there, resolve some of this. Thank you for calling us. Thanks for letting us know about all of this. All right, let's go to Lewis, Austin, Texas, KBBW. You are our final caller here. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I listen to you all the time down here. Well, what's happening is I have a 21-year-old son and a 23-year-old daughter. However, about 4 or 5 years ago, my son wanted me to accept that she now wants to be called Aria and change to a woman. And so I'm having a hard time because I'm really trying to understand and accept and allow that, but because I also was an angry young man, sounds like anger issues are in the world and the family's falling apart. So I wonder how I can reach out to my daughter and try and correct those things that maybe I've done in the past, or even just reach out and start a dialogue so that we might get to know each other, because I do not know the girl,
Yeah. So there has been a complete change over gender transformation or not?
No, I was really trying to get to the point. I'll say 3 more sentences here. The tragic event in my life happened back in 2007. And me and his mother were in a horrible shape. And I went to church, and I saw the light and found Jesus. The problem with that, of course, is that half of the equation didn't want to follow the light, and so it split us up. However, as we all know, as we go through our transformation as human beings and become spiritual, that often takes a long time. And I had to drink milk for way too long. So while the children were young, they experienced one side of my mouth being, hey, let's follow Jesus and read and do prayers at night. And then the other side, the anger, and even called their mother bad names. I was the master conservator. I actually told this child when they were a senior that they were not a girl, that it was a domestic, possession. So therefore, the child turned. At that time, the mother had remarried, so they have a blended family. And of course, now they accepted this and immediately accepted this. And this child sat on the couch for 4 years. There's no operation, no gender transformation other than hormones that I know. But the issue is, I'm the enemy. Even if I now am more spiritually enlightened. Yeah.
Okay, so I get that. One of the things that is sad about this, and I mentioned it on another program, that, if a child has gender confusion, the secular research shows that 80% of those issues resolve themselves if they could just be left alone. That would clear up that confusion. But now that it hasn't, you really have to apologize. You have to show remorse over any kind of mistreatment, and you have to accept the person, even though you don't accept what they have done or whatever kind of life they want to live. But the acceptance thing, it doesn't help. It doesn't change them or give them potential to change when you don't accept them and show love for them no matter what they do. You're not endorsing the transgender and all the things that go with it. You're endorsing the person, and that's what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand that idea and that concept, but this has been several years, and so. The real issue, the meat of it is that, say my father just passed away a month ago, and so we all had to be together in the same room. And I embraced my daughter in a way that I could, and I certainly have. About every month I send a text. Her sister says that she's getting the information. Several years ago, at the group of at the idea of my men's group, I actually sent an accepting letter about 2 years ago, and so I really tried to say these things.
Okay.
But even when I saw this person, what I saw on their what I saw on their face was panic, nervousness, inability to talk to me at all, fear, and I just I'm reaching out in deaf ears.
Okay. All right, so let's hear what Alice has to say, because we're just about out of time for the entire program. Alice, what are you thinking here?
Well, Lewis, I just want to emphasize what Steve said, because you have a great deal of power in presenting humility to your child, to your children, and acknowledging that you did great damage to the family and that you had not represented God well in their lives. And I don't even want you to try to talk to them to impress them about God or to even to convert them. And it sounds like you know that now's not the time to do that. Now is the time to confess and to ask if your daughter would be willing to let you make a confession to her, that she doesn't have to say anything back if she doesn't want to, but that you want to acknowledge what you have done to her and to the family, and see if she'll take that. If she won't take it, write it in a letter and send it to her. You can't determine how she responds, but you can give it your best effort.
It's one of the most frustrating things for us to know that when a person makes a transition, it doesn't take care of all the other issues that are there. And so often, if they could just patiently wait and take care of the other issues, they might not see a need to do something extremely dramatic. And oh my goodness, I hurt for the parents, I hurt for those kids, and I hope and pray that something here provides some kind of hope. But many times these are the calls that it is accepting something, a person. It's accepting that person with something that you don't want to accept. But that's what we're called to do. Love in spite of all of those things. And I don't think anybody that's in his position that the child would ever think that there's an endorsement of anything but what's right according to God and God's truth. But it is tough, and usually it goes badly before anybody says, hey, how should I handle this situation? All right, I'll send him a copy of Every Man's Bible. I hope he'll enjoy that. Thank you, Alice. Good to be with you. God bless you. Thanks to all of you who watch and listen and support us. We'll see you next time, right here on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.